Today we're going to be replacing this motor assembly in the Baratza Sette series, and this is going to be a 270WI, but it should work across all the different models. But first off, I do just want to say welcome to Kabin's Coffee Corner. This channel is designed to help you choose the gear that you want to brew with at home, and we do different comparisons and reviews and repairs here on this channel. So I ask that you would please subscribe if you find this video helpful. That really helps me as a YouTuber. I also am on Instagram, so you're welcome to follow me there as well with the link in the description. So let's go ahead and dive into it. You need a few things here. You need a T10 bit and a screwdriver to put that on, and you also need the motor, the new motor assembly, as well as obviously the Baratza 270WI or whatever series that you have. The first step you need to do is you need to remove the burr set. So you're just simply going to take this ring here and you're going to turn it all the way to the side, and that's just going to simply drop out. You're then going to need to twist off the grounds hopper, and then from there on out we're going to need to remove a few different screws. I use the lid of the grinder to put all the screws in so I don't lose them, and I already took a few off just to make this a little bit easier. So there's going to be a screw here, here, and here, right there, and then on the bottom there's going to be one right here under this silicone foot right here. So you're going to need to take off all 5 of those. I've already done that to make it a little quicker. And then the back plate of it should eventually come off. You might need to use a little bit of force on there. Now there's 2 cables on that which you can just kind of leave on and just kind of hang off to the side a little bit. And then on the inside of the grinder you're going to find 4 more of the same T10 screws. Right there, it's missing because I already took it out. And then another one right there, and that's all you need. So you're going to need to unscrew those. And then on the back here you're going to find 2 plugs. You're going to find a red one that just simply pulls off, and a black one that simply pulls off. And then your motor is able to be completely removed from the grinder itself right there. You can do a little bit of cleaning on the inside if you want to. And then you're going to need to remove all of those screws, put them in your little hopper, and then you're going to run completely out of screws on that. Now on the bottom of this grinder there are 4, on the bottom of this motor there are 4 little pieces of white plastic. Mine is currently missing one, the new one that I got shipped in. So I'm just going to simply pop one of those out, which I didn't expect it to be missing, but not a big deal. So I just want to say a few things that I love about this grinder and that I hate about this grinder, why I'm doing this little part. The thing that I love about this is a very good entry-level espresso grinder. It's, in my opinion, one of the best out there if you're going the electric route. However, the reliability of this grinder is very not great, none say the least. So now you're going to go ahead and put this back inside the grinder, and then there's this little cable here that connects to the display, and you're going to want to make sure that you put this in without getting underneath of any of the cables. So I got that in right there, and then the red cable is indicated at the top there, and you're just going to shove that back on, and then same with the black cable as well. But yes, the grinder does have a few reliability issues that I'm not super happy with, and it does break down. However, in my few years of owning this, Baratza has replaced every single part that has broken on it in the condition that I would replace it myself, or I would pay to ship the grinder to them. So far I've gotten $270 worth of free parts. This motor assembly is $70 on their own, but they have honored my warranty throughout the entire time. So kudos to Baratza for being a good company to work with on there. Now I'm just simply screwing those in. And you just got to make sure the motor lines up right, and that actually does go in all the way. it's a pretty straightforward thing. Just kind of drop those screws in and tighten it. It is very finicky though, because there is the motor on the inside that has this magnetic, so it's just a real kind of pain in the butt, if you know what I'm saying. And I just lost a screw in there as a result of the motor being magnetic. So it's not the most difficult thing to replace, but it is just a little finicky because of how everything is laid out on the inside. But I really don't have any ability of replacing things. I'm not a handy person, but as a result of how straightforward this is, it's pretty easy to do. Honestly, now that I'm doing this, I'd recommend putting the screws in before you put the motor inside the assembly, just because it's a little bit easier that way. Overall, I've been pretty happy with this grinder. It's actually going to a new home. I'm about to let it go for the first time in 4 years, I think, since I've owned this. I had this back when it was the Baratza 270W, and then I upgraded to the I portion of it a little bit later on. And there we go. And I like to do these screws counter opposite corners, make it a little bit easier and make sure it's locked in there really well. But yeah, I just sold this and upgraded to the niche, which I will be comparing it with back and forth, because they both do have their pros and cons. And there are some things that I like about this grinder over the niche, which is saying a lot, because the niche is one of the most highly sought after grinders, and a lot of people upgrade from this to the niche. And I want to tell you a little bit why that is the case here. And then you're just going to simply shove this back on to the best you can after you got all your motor assembly screwed on and plugged in the back. I did notice that it's always very difficult to get this assembly back on perfectly at the top there. And then you're going to take your 5 bolts that you have left. I accidentally broke one in the process, and my fault. So I only have 4 that I'm putting in. I'm skipping the one at the bottom foot there. There goes the head of this. But overall, I gotta say, Baratza has been one of the best customer supports in coffee equipment that I've used so far. And as a result of that, it's hard not to recommend them. But it is a real downside. This part took me, my grinder broke on a Saturday, which means inconveniently it wasn't on business hours. So it took me about a week and a half to get this part in from Baratza. They responded quickly on Monday as a result of my my warranty request. But shipping takes a while. I'm in the Midwest. They're in, I believe, Seattle or Portland or somewhere on the West Coast. So that took a week and a half that I was out without this grinder, which for me it wasn't too big of a deal because I had other grinders that I could use. But in the previous times where I didn't have other grinders to use, it is a very inconvenient thing to be out your grinder on some random morning when it begins to not work. Now, I noticed that the motor was dead on this because it made this awful grinding noise that's made it way louder than it's supposed to be, and this is already a pretty loud grinder. Searched some stuff on Reddit, emailed Baratza, and then they confirmed that it was the same issue. So you're going to line up this blue dash right there with the blue on here, and then you're going to turn that way, and then that's back in, and then you're going to put your hopper on, and you are good to go, and you have a complete Baratza again, and it is ready to grind. So I hope you found this video helpful. I know some of this stuff isn't as straightforward as it's like, but this one is a pretty easy fix. If you're not confident with yourself, I'd really recommend giving it a shot. I went and bought this T10 bit and this thing for 10 bucks, and it's probably cheaper than shipping this all the way to Seattle, and it definitely got me a lot quicker, and Baratza has been very, very helpful in this entire process. And I'm out this motor now, and I should be set with a new one for a while now. But shout out to Baratza for being so great on customer support and sending me all the parts that I've needed through this thing. It's been a great grinder so far, and I'm happy to pass this down to a friend to really get his espresso game up a little bit stronger than what it has been before. So I ask that you, again, please subscribe and like this video, and thank you for watching.